What do you like to do?
Gymnastics.
Gymnastics, that's cool. Your dad said you were in gymnastics. And have you done a lot of art stuff before?
Some.
Some? Like what? Do you draw? Ceramics, it sounds like. Is that?
I did, in one of my classes we did abstract art.
Oh,
we
cool.
We also did kind of something
Like this? Cool. Okay, so sorry, I was teaching him also some basics. This is my friend Jesse. Okay, so we can just start with some paper here. And I was going to ask you if you know what value means, the word value, when it comes to art. Have you heard that before? That's okay if you haven't, like, that's fine. I just wanted to know because it's a word often used, like just in art. So it's similar to shading. Do you know what shading is? Okay, so shading is when you try to do light, colors, or dark, you know what I mean? Just shading pictures. So value is the same thing. So we're gonna start and draw 4 boxes, or let's do 5 boxes. Give me just little squares up in the corner. They don't have to be perfect. Perfect. Okay, and then we're gonna shade these. So we're gonna start from the brightest, so like a sun. You don't need to draw this, it's just kind of for you to know, and then to the darkest, okay? So we're gonna color the boxes from light to dark. And the easiest thing to do is start with the dark one, if you want. Draw as dark as you can. And then the light one, we're gonna leave completely white, because that's as bright as you can get. Okay, so that's fine. You can erase that or whatever you want. And so the middle one, you're wanting to just kind of imagine what's a good in between from the darkest to the lightest. And it's all based off of your like own interpretation. So like whatever you feel like is in between. Perfect. And then from there, now you look at these 2 boxes and you try to find a good in between those 2. And this is how we kind of get a gradual shading going. Okay, so have you drawn like people before? Do you like do stick figures? What do you like to do when you draw? You don't know? Do you draw very often? Okay, so I wanted to teach you realistic portrait drawing. That sounds really fancy, but it's basically just drawing people. So like, here's an example. It's all bubbly right now. I've just like some lady's face. I don't know who it is. And we're gonna learn how to draw like realistically. So when you look at someone, you know how they've got shapes, different shapes for your eye, eyelashes, eyebrows, everything. So this, what we're gonna start with is a grid. This will help you when it comes to drawing a face. Because when you look at something, have you ever noticed that it looks kind of different sometimes when you draw it on the paper? It doesn't look like what you see. So we're going to use a grid to help us kind of control what we're drawing. Okay, so I've made one right here with a grid already set up. And so what we're going to do is draw a grid on our paper as well. So I don't know if you know a lot about putting like fractions together to try to figure this out. But this paper is 9 by 12. Okay, we can do a little math in the corner. You don't have to write on yours. And so there's 4 boxes here and 3 boxes to the side. So how would you get 4 by 3, 4 boxes down and 3 boxes over on a 9 by 12 paper?
You'd have 4 on this side.
Okay, so how big do the boxes need to be?
1/4. So like for the 4 boxes, you could put it into 4.
Mm-hmm. So if it's 12 inches, what's 12 divided by 4? 3?
So they're each 3 inches.
Good. And so just to make sure that it would be the same width, what's 9 divided by 3? so there would be 3-inch squares. Does that make sense? Okay, so the easiest way to start with making the grid is draw 2 dots to make a line. So when you make a line, it's easier for the ruler to match up with 2 points, and then you draw the line. You know, simple like that. So if you draw, and I'll let you use this ruler in a second, just to give you an example, I marked the 3 and the 6, and then the edge of the paper is the 9. You'll do it again, just up at the top somewhere. It doesn't matter really where it is. The 3 and the 6, and what you'll do is you'll line the ruler up and draw a line. So I'll let you do that. So for the other way, you can go ahead and just use it. You'll do 3 inches as well to get the 4 boxes. So, yeah, let's see. You did the 3 this way, so then if you do it sideways and lay the ruler this way, find the 3 inches. So what's your favorite subject in school?
I do band and it's really fun.
Oh, in school. What do you play?
Clarinet.
Cool.
Last year we did art and that was my favorite.
That's cool. What did you guys do in art? Looks abstract stuff? Sound
Yeah.
like?
And then I'm in the discovery class, so we do some of that stuff too.
What does the discovery class do?
We did something similar to this kind of, but it was just you're drawing yourself kind
Oh, cool. Did you have to look in a mirror and draw yourself? Wow.
of. So you just like held up the little hand mirror.
Oh, was that hard?
Mm-hmm.
Man, I've never done that before. I don't know if I can do that. Because wouldn't you like move every single time you looked at it? So you like, well, that would be hard.
But we did the grid, but it was different. We drew the head first and then divided it where like in half and then
to see where
to
the
see
eyes and the mouth are. That's cool. Yeah, so this is a little different then. So this is based off of a picture where you've already got something just set still there. Okay. So once you have your grid, sometimes it's nice to have these diagonal lines that you have going through because it helps you to match up where the parts of the face are on the paper. Because sometimes it's hard when you have a whole entire big square to be like, okay, where does the ear go exactly? So there are more lines to help you line things up. So we can just quickly just draw in the diagonal lines and then we'll get started on just a rough outline for a face. So how long have you played the clarinet for?
Just this year
Oh, cool.
when we started school. But I know the band teacher because he used to be an award, and my Bethany used to do track, and he was a track coach, and we know him really well. So it's fun having him.
Yeah, that's good.
And then Bethany kind of taught me because she played the clarinet too.
Oh, that's nice. Okay, so when you've got the grid put up together, you basically just start matching the shapes from the here on this grid onto your paper. So it helps you to kind of see where to put things. You can start wherever. The easiest thing I like to start with is just the outline of the face. And then from there, work on like the nose or the eyes and the mouth. So what you'll do is, let's see, I've got one already started. You'll just look at where you want to start. So let's say, I don't know, the chin. Where do you want to start? What do you think would be the easiest? So the fun thing to look for, the easiest thing, is where lines touch each other. So like right here is really nice because it's right there by that cross. And so it's easy to find on your paper. So you find the box that it's in.
So
Yep, perfect. And so, let's see this super well. So it looks like it's just barely right outside the cross. So you just kind of make a little thing for you to look at, and maybe a little mark. And then you look for maybe where this is, down on that square. And then you basically just draw in the lines and try to start getting the outline of her face the best you see it. So you can connect them and move on the next thing. So what cool things have you been able to learn this semester? Or this part of school?
We did a discovery task, which in math. So you basically he gives a really complicated problem and try and figure it out, but we find different ways and try and prove how we're right. And one of the discovery tasks our class discovered, I think it's called Pascal's triangle.
I think so. Is that the math triangle that it goes on? Yeah.
That's one thing that we discovered just on by ourselves. My teacher just goes around and watches kids.
That's cool. So you kind of do your own learning.
Yeah, and
That's awesome. Do you like math?
mm-hmm.
That's good. That was fun. It can be hard sometimes, so. So this is a really cool art tool. It's kind of like an eraser. It's called a kneaded eraser. And what you do is you dab things away. So you know, like with the eraser on your pencil, if you want to erase something, you just go like this. Okay, so sometimes this can be a little hard because there's shadows on the picture. So do you see the line right here by her face? And then you just follow the hairline. That's usually some of the easiest ways to do it. But I know there's shadows, so it's hard to decide like how to draw in quick sketch. Awesome. Okay, what would you want to outline next? Are you gonna do like maybe her eyes?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. We probably won't be able to finish the whole thing now, just for sake of time. But we can start on eyes, and then I can teach you shading after that if you want. You can like shade in her eyes a little bit. So, just the easiest thing that I've found to start with is just the outline of this part of the eye, kind of that almond shape. But some people, the circles are pretty easy to find too. So if you're going to start with just the iris of her eye, and I found sometimes you just have to stare at the picture for a really long time to be able to see everything. Because it's hard to draw real life things, realistic portraits. So you can outline as much as you want sometimes. As you'll notice, there's like the lid of your eye. And also some people have like a lot of like lines or background to their eyes. So those are fun to draw in just for the sake of shading the eye today. If you just want to draw, let's see, looks like she's got just kind of a prominent eyelid there. And then underneath here. Okay, so for shading, you basically just have to look at the picture, and sometimes it's easier to go back to the one without the grid, just because the grid can get in the way sometimes. And just see where the dark areas are, where the light areas are, and the in-between. Sometimes it's easiest just to draw the dark areas first, to get those out of the way, because they're pretty easy, you know where they are. Like the middle, what is that called, the pupil of your eye? That's always the darkest area. And just kind of look. So, top of the eyelid is pretty dark. Her things like that. Get all the dark stuff all shaded in. And then from there you work kind of along the medium things. So, oh, you got the ring around the eye, that's good. So when you do that, kind of look at it, let's see. So her eye looks like it has like spots in her eye, like lines coming out the side. So you can draw that in. Just keep drawing kind of what you see in the picture. You want to look for the light spots just so you make sure not to draw over them. Because sometimes it's hard to erase once you've drawn over a white spot. Good. And just kind of shade it in all the way because it looks like light gray. Looks really good. And then even the whites of her eyes, I don't think are completely white, so it looks darker as you get in there. Kind of like when you see a 3D circle, like a sphere, how it's not always white around. There's like shadows on the sides sometimes, or the top or the bottom. For the eyeball, looks like she's got some in the corners. So grid can be pretty helpful when drawing faces. Kind of like how you did for your discovery class too, how you did the grid of the face to find where measurements are. Yeah, it's the basics of shading. One other thing that I wanted to kind of teach you was when you draw stuff upside down, it can help too. Because when you look at somebody, especially if you've known them before, you kind of get distorted images in your head a little bit of what they look like. And so when you draw it on paper, sometimes it doesn't come out what you see on the paper. So this is a bad example because I have a computer, but if you're drawing this based off of like a printed picture, if you turn it upside down and look at it, you can draw things upside down and it'll help you get the real shape. So like for an eye, if you drew it upside down based off of what you see, it could help you get the real shape of the image. So I just thought that's pretty cool. That's a tip my teacher told me. Do you have any questions on anything? No. Cool. For this, I just wanted to let you use it and show you kind of how it works. So when you pull it apart, it gets wider because it's moving the lead around in there. It's kind of cool. So you want it to get white, and then you can just dab on where you want it to go away.